welcome to the Would-Be Carpenter Shop. My name is Donald, and today I'm going to be working on this card table slash game table, probably from the early 1900s. It's walnut base and a burl veneer around the outside edge, and I believe it's a burl veneer on top too, but it's really stained, really dirty, and we won't really see the results of that until I get underneath this finish. So I'm going to be refinishing the top. It has a little bow in it. So I'm going to be doing my best to get that out. It also has some veneer that's letting go in here. It's bubbling, where it looked like it has water damage, I think. And, wow, that's loose too. And I'm going to be trying to fix that without taking this off. It has a couple places that need to be repaired, but just trying to just refurbish it without taking away any of its qualities. So there's a lot of damage on it. It has been repaired before, and whoever repaired it before, they didn't fill the holes with anything that matched the wood. So it's a light color filler that they didn't bother to color. So at least I know where it's at. So I'm going to be redoing those. A lot of the veneer on this is bubbled, water damaged, and let go. I'm going to be repairing that. Now it does have a nice crack down the walnut base, and somebody has taken and heavily glued the legs on with, it looks like Gorilla Glue. It's really spongy, yellow and foamy. So I don't think I'm going to be getting it off very easy. There's a lot of splits and breaks down here, but I have an idea of what I can do to fix that. Somebody has taken and cut, there was a deco down here at the bottom, and it looked like some stuff at the bottom here. It looks like somebody had taken, just cut it clean off on all of them. So we're going to do our best just to fix what we have here. The person really likes the table, and I'm going to fix it up for it. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a fun project because there's a lot of damage to it. It's not original. There's a lot of things that they glued and screwed and made it to where there's no way I can bring it back to its original shape because there's a lot of pieces missing. You see, this is already loose. This holds the top on. Unfortunately, that just pops right off. That's going to sure help with our top. Yeah, these are very, very loose as well. The hinges here. So yeah, it's going to be good that we could take this apart and do that. Here I'm going to be taking these out. Alrighty, yeah, you can see where this was split here, and it's still got a little bit of a creak to it. It just needs a good cleaning up. You can see on the bottom that this was pretty bad. It's got a nice crack in the side here too, but it can be fixed. Good piece of walnut. Okay, wow, I can't even take this off really. It is so, it's been epoxied and glued on, so I'm going to do my best to sand and just clean that up. Beautiful base. I just got to fill it. I think I may use some epoxy putty to fill it. It'll do two things: fill the hole, and it'll help hold it together. And with these, I think these are just going to come off. I'll find some proper pads or something to go on the bottom that's even after I even up the piece, because even the way it's glued, the legs, this leg is glued different. I would have to break this leg. It's kind of an, you kind of see, it's kind of at an angle. So it's going, instead of being straight, it's going like that. So I'm just going to do my best with it. I'm going to be taking the epoxy putty and pushing it in the crack deep as I can. Now I'm building kind of a little dam right here. When I get up here, I'm going to put some glue. I'm going to let some glue run down inside. I use a little bit of water and go over it, and it kind of smooths that out, and it really helps a lot. That way I can take the excess and just wipe it off. I'm probably going to have to do a little buildup on top of this to get it to fill a little bit better. I mean, if it's feeling bad, I guess it'll help it to feel better. Okay, so get this cleaned up. And what I'm thinking of doing is putting some glue down in here. And since this is dammed up, I'm just going to let the glue run down inside. I'll let that run down into the cracks. I mean, there's going to be quite a bit of work to do on this, but I want it to fill up so that it makes it, we'll have it solid again. The good thing is it doesn't go all the way through, except for right there. Wow. Anyway, we'll get her looking good again. All right, we'll let that set and dry. Looking at this veneer, it's pretty nice. Let's look around here for along the edges. Anything I can't see, maybe I might be able to hear it. Sometimes if I tap on it, I'll show you. Well, you already know this here, but you can hear the sound of it. So I know I got to fill that in. And let's see what I can do with that. Let me get me a clamp ready. Just going to use some pressure clamps, kind of test fit it on here. That's going to work really well. Now I'm just going to put a little piece of tape over this foam. I don't always use the foam, but in this case, because it's angles, I'm thinking I might. And I'm also going to be using some old brown glue, some hide glue. This comes in a bottle like this already mixed. So here you can see where this is loose. It's bubbled up in there. And I made me just a piece of foam, a little piece of that white foam you get in packages, and I put a little bit of non-stick tape on it. What I'm going to do is clamp it on here like this. Because it has a little bit of a bow in it, I've decided to use that. Let me get a little bit of water on my rag. Okay. Put this. Ooh, it's runny. It's warm today. Run that right down inside there. Kind of open it up a little bit without breaking it all the way off. Run some glue down in there and take my little blade. You get these from the art store. This is an old one, probably from a yard sale. And just stick that right down on top of that. Wipe up my mess here a little bit. But I'm going to just give it a little bit of a wiping that way. Put this on here. Okay, that should do that. And hide glue cleans up really nice, so I'm not worried about making any, damaging anything, because hide glue, just a little soap and water or just a little warm water will just wipe it right off. Somebody did a repair right here, but they used a different filler. It looks kind of odd, so we'll color up everything before we put a finish on this, because I'm going to refinish the side of this since it's a small area. and it has lots of damaged pieces in it, and we'll clean that up and make it look good and strengthen the whole board that it's on here. So I'll set this aside for now. This is drying, and I put some glue in here and let it run down inside as well as in here and let it run down. So I'm just giving it made a little dam with some epoxy putty here and let the glue run down in there. It'll fill it up a little bit, I hope. And then I've tried squeezing it together with a metal clamp, and this thing won't budge. So it was my only option is to fill this crack. I'll show you around the back here. See, it's kind of in real bad shape there, but yeah. Alrighty. That's it. We're just going to let this stuff dry overnight, and then we'll get to the next step. Alright, before we shut her all down for the day, I'm going to take this little piece of hardware off of the tabletop so that I can work on the veneer on the other side. I'm going to set this right here and take a look at this. Well, not too sure about that, but I do know we have some damaged spots that need to be repaired. Find those. Now the little one is in the middle. It's not, the edge isn't opened. I don't think. Nope. So I'm going to take and continue down this split right here in the center. And maybe I might be able to do like that. Shove glue in one way, and then take and shove glue in the other way. Sure it's good and filled on both sides. Okay. Wipe off my excess this way. I'm going to use one of my ones I already had prepared and put this here and put this on here. Okay, this side is open. You can get in there really good. Now I am going to push a little bit and maybe break it open just a hair more, just to be able to get to it a little bit better. Okay, this whole piece may come off, I don't know. Okay, and that's that. All right, so I need to get one more of those blocks. Take my excess, wipe her down really good. Again, I'm going to take the block that I'm going to be using. It has a flat edge on it. That's all I'm really worried about, is the edge that's going down on it. And you can see there's a lot of squeeze out there. I have a little small piece here to repair there, you can see. But the rest of it is in pretty decent shape. We'll let this dry overnight. I took a peek at this one earlier just to make sure it went down, but it went down real well. Well, just here, You can see where I didn't make my block wide enough, and I have a bubble on both sides. So I'm going to have to put another block on here and do it right. Okay, now this piece here. Very nice. I have a little bit of replacement. I have to put a little piece of burl in there to replace that. And that's what we'll do. All right, I let this dry overnight. And this epoxy right here is all dried up. And I left it open because I put some glue down inside to seal that up, and I did it down here as well. So now I'm just going to be filling the crack with a little bit more quickwood. All right. All right. A little bit of water, moisten that up a little bit, that'll help it. Now I'll probably have to go another coat on top of this just to get it to fill properly. We will do that, we'll do whatever it takes. A little bit more, finish this up. Do it up here like so. I know it's nice and close. Maybe too close, okay, maybe too close. It looks a little rough right now because, you know, it's just getting filled. A little bit of moisture on that, just to get that filled up. Clean it up afterward with a wet rag. A little spray bottle water. Moisten that up so that it smooths down. Put it down with a dry rag. All the excess I can just clean off when I'm sanding, but for the most part, I just want to fill that hole up. And we can shape it after it dries. I can file it, sand it. All kinds of fun stuff to it. Perfect. I know it looks a little rough right now, but that's the way it is. It will look rough. All right, well, we'll let this set aside and dry. Should be able to start sanding on it and shaping it tomorrow. All right, well, right now I am going to clean this up a little bit. This is our brown glue, hide glue. A little bit of warm water and a rag. So here's a little bit of 220 because the finish is very, very dry. And all I want to do is just take it down just a hair. I don't want to go past the finish if I can avoid it, but looks like it may. This isn't a bad thing. We can clean it right up. A lot of bumps and stuff. I can feel it smoothing out, and that's what I want. And then wherever I need to replace the burl when I get it, I can do that. Smoothed out all these little small places. I'm going to be replacing with a little bit of little chips of veneer as soon as I get some, and little cracks and such. And then there's other places in here where you can see somebody else has filled where veneer was missing. You know, a little bit. So I need to fix that too. So I'm gonna sand this whole piece. Get it all ready. I'm pretty much just sanding the finish. If I go down below it, it's okay. When I put the finish on, it'll bring it back to its original color. Just being very careful. Kind of curl my paper up just a hair on each side so I don't go underneath a piece of veneer, loose piece of veneer. Keep it from slitting up my fingers. Now on some of these ones that are real fine cracks, I'm going to be gluing this, but these real fine cracks, I'll probably just put a little bit of putty in it, just some plastic wood, because they're so fine, they just need to be cleaned up, and I can color those with a little bit of stain. Okay, reckon this top piece, I'm just going to be hitting the surface on it as well. Well, this is kind of a burl veneer, and this kind has a little bit of green to it. I don't know what they're doing here, but I'm just going in a little bit of a circle, just hitting the surface, the finish that's on there. I'm trying not to go down below it, but there's some pretty good sized drips and stuff in here. I'm going to try to smooth out so when I put a new finish back on the top of this, it'll look decent. This was a big hole that was all filled with putty and not colored. So we'll be coloring that back, trying to get it to match. I'll probably put some fill over it because it has a dip in it as well. It doesn't fill up all the way. Just little things, thank goodness. You can kind of judge how deep you're going with it by one, if you see you're hitting wood, which I'm not yet, and two, the little shiny spots on here, you can see the high-low. I want to try to get that even so that it looks good. Again, when I put the finish on. Now this part right here isn't a part that shows all the time. It's closed up inside, but still, we want everything to look good. Okay. I'm not doing too much in here, but just very, very lightly knocking down any high points. I just want to rough up the surface on this finish so that it can accept another finish on top of it. There's nothing really to fix in this. It's just an old crackly finish. It'll be just fine. Because once I put a finish on top of this, it's going to make it look 99.9% better. Even going to hit the back of this. Why not? We're right here doing it. I always try to be careful when I'm doing something that's got veneer on it. And again, I mean, I do use blocks, and blocks are good for sanding to get, you know, surfaced even. But when I'm doing a rough once over on the finish, I usually curl back my paper just a little bit, just on the ends. I don't know how many times I've had veneer splinters just run right through my fingers or up my fingernails. So just kind of a habit now. I kind of curl it up a little bit just to get the, you know, the surface roughed up. Take down anything that might need to be taken down. I'm going to put a little bit of filler on some of these cracks, and then the rest I'll have to wait till I get my burl veneer patch. Now when this is all cleaned up and such, that's how she's going to look. Still see some light spots in there, but looks pretty good, doesn't it? I'm going to put some glue in this center one and clamp it, but for now I'm just going over and hitting some of the small cracks that are just, and I will color them later, but just real small cracks, just so that the surface looks even. where glue and finish has dripped down, it's kind of left sharp edges on the underneath the bottom. So I'm just kind of cleaning that up, making it smooth. And this down here has got some really hard glue on the bottom. So let's see if we can't get something to get that off. Okay, that might work. Okay, that worked pretty good, just getting that rough off. Let's see if I can smooth it. Okay, that did it. All right, I've decided to go ahead and use a little brown glue on this one. Just kind of force it down inside that crick. Use my finger, shove it down in there good. It's going this way, so. Wipe up all my extras. Shove some more down in there. Okay. A little bit on the inside there too. I probably should have put a piece of tape on this one. Now I do have some real fine needle-like injectors that I normally use on that. I didn't this time. I just didn't, but normally I would. I'm gonna put this underneath here, and there's that one. This one. Now I know you couldn't see it. I should have been closer, but as soon as I tighten this up, it moved this in here, so I know that there's some pressure going on there, and I want to probably stick me a piece of tape. Okay, just a little piece. So when I stick a little bit more, glue right here, it's going to fill that up a little bit down below. It's filling it there, yeah. And then when it's all done, it'll clean up real nice with just some warm water. And it was a filled hole, but it was dipping down, so I just need to level it out. Yeah. Level that out, level these little cracks here out. Make everything all prettied again. Now, we're just going to set this aside until I get some more veneer, and then we will get on with the next piece. All right, here, I'm just using a little 220 over the inside that I glued down. And it glued down right nice, it did. It's just one part, and I'll show you that I didn't have the block all the way over, and that's kind of one of my biggest faults. I don't usually get something to cover the whole area. Just one of those things I'm still learning, I guess. So I'm just gonna go over this. Again, with this, I'm just messing with the surface. I'm 220 in it. I might knock it down a little bit more, but 220 might be okay. This piece right here, you can see where it's it didn't get that block on the edge. So here we go. I'm going to take a block that will actually cover that whole edge, and I'm going to, already got my tape on there, I'm going to put some more brown glue on it. And let's see if we can't get in there, you can see it a little bit. Okay, you see that? Okay, so what I'm going to do is try to squeeze her in there with my finger. Okay, and try to keep it off the felt. But I'm pushing it in underneath like so. That's already glued, so this here is going to go okay right there. So I kind of wanted to go even, but it don't matter. Just as long as I can catch that. Okay. I'll kind of see what I'm doing here. All right, well, can't do nothing to that really, except wait for it to dry. But for now, what I'm going to do is take 220, and I'm going to go around the whole outside of this and sand it smooth, see if there's any damage that needs to be repaired. If not, I'm just going to prep the surface of this for a finish. See how rough this edging is here. See the middle, these little things are popped up. Some of them I got glue on them, or I need to glue down, I'm sorry. And the other ones, I just need to sand it down a little bit. So this particular edging, I may strip all the way down because of the roughness of it, the damage that's on it, and just bring it back down to its original banding. Do a little bit of fill, and then maybe tone it or hit it with a little dye stain on this edging since it's so choppy, and bring it back to what it's supposed to be. So it's in rough shape. Let's continue on around and see if we can't get this thing looking good. I'm also checking right now for any raised veneer. Now redoing the edging on this creates a real sharp and splintery edge on this veneer. So once I hit the edging and I hit this part, I just run my sandpaper just down at a 45 one time just to knock that little sharp edge off to keep it from splintering. You know, this edge banding is very, very rough. It has water damage, and I'm trying very carefully not to go through the veneer, which so far pretty good. Now we got that real pretty side on this side. I'm gonna strip this top, try and get all that finish off, and then we'll sand it up good. Sand this down just a hair. Now, of course, I'm going to have to do some rebuilding in here. All these little divots, I'm going to take a drill bit and drill them back out once I get it all cleaned up. It'll look pretty when it's done. I'm just using the rough side just to get it ground down, and I'm using the edge of the sandpaper to pick out some of the old stuff here. But I'm going to dye stain all of this anyhow. So. So this is pretty much filled. There's a few places up on top where, okay, let's see about right here, plastic key that up, right, this the little holes that I missed. So they're nothing big, but it'll make it look clean. I'll pick all that out. Try not to let that dry because it's a bear to get out sometime. Okay. Okie dokie. And I got a mess here, and I'll kind of clean it up a little bit. I'll clean up that other one too. I don't see nothing else in there. Let's see. Yeah, it looks good. All right. Well, we'll let that sit and dry. And all three of them are drying right now, so we'll come back tomorrow and do some more. See you then. All right, good morning. Well, everything seemed to have worked all right. I took the clamp off of this. It's not re-cracking. That glue that I put in there held really well, and it held straight. So, I already sanded it with 220, just over everything to get everything down. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply, because there's so many nicks and dings in it and the discolorations, I'm going to put a little bit of special walnut, because it is a walnut burl. I'm just going to use a special walnut. It's a light walnut. It's not to restain it, but just to kind of refresh it. Well, I guess to restain it, refresh it, same thing. You'll see. So I'm just going over the top. Now I'm going to have to take, see this is the part that I just took the finish off, and when I put this on, it just makes it look like new again. The parts that I used where I've filled it, I'll come back with some special type of stain and go over that so that it won't be seen. But for now, I'm just wiping this down just to kind of refresh it. And again, I've got to use my darker stuff to put my, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it. I'm using dye stain. I'm using dye stain to go over the rest of it. Now the bottom wasn't stained before, but I'm just going to clean it up and seal it with a little stain and sealer. It's so dry. Okay, and the very back, got a nice little place on the back that's against the wall. All right, and right inside here. Okay, this gives me an idea too where the places that I have to restain. So I'm going over with a dry rag, just wiping off the excess stain. Now I have light walnut and extra dark walnut. We'll see which one's going to try the light walnut first, just because I can always make it darker as I'm doing it because it layers really well. Oh, this might work good right here. I don't know if you can see. Let me zoom in on that a little bit. Okay. I already did this part here. Sometimes I'll take and dilute this a little bit. In a little bit. A couple of other spots over here that I need to get. Okay. Trying this outside part. Okay. That dry, and I may put another coat over that. I may have to go over it a couple of times to get it to blend. That cracked really well. This is on the bottom, so I'm not too concerned about that, but I still want it to look halfway decent. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Let that dry a little bit, and then I'll put another coat on. A couple places I need to darken it up. It's a straight line. I don't know why that's there. It ain't gonna get no better. Now I'm gonna try that dark walnut just to see how it fares on the color. It's just to feather that look out a little bit. Remember, the finish is going to take and cover all that, but I want to get it to blend the best we can. I'm being kind of sloppy here, but it's a pretty good size area that needs to blend there. Okay, I'm going to try going over this one again to darken it up. If it doesn't darken it up too much, I may try a little dark walnut just to, yeah, this may work. One big patch right there. And one over here. I think this is going to do it. I just need to go over a couple of them again. It dries pretty quick. Okay. Excuse my hands. Okay, I'm just gonna try just a tab of this on top first. Okay, well that may do pretty well on it. Let me see. This I'm going to use just to do the feathering on the edges. Has a nice look. Just get it blended even without too much fuss on there. And this is a burl, so I'm getting away with being a little bit wild. All right, we'll just finish that up and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, we're back with this piece here. And I'm going to be, I did the dye stain on it. Now I'm going to put a finish on this. I'm going to put a urethane finish on it. This Helmsman exterior semi-gloss enamel. I like this can because it has the spray nozzle that has a nice tip you can adjust. So just putting on one light coat right now and then setting it aside. I want to go across the top. Okay, so I'll set this aside to dry. All right, now we're going to take a look at this base. Now, I did a little sanding on it here just to get back down to the wood on it. Some of this stuff off of here is still kind of loose. Now this, I just need to do a light sanding again. Just shaping it to the shape of the wood. Now I'm just going over it lightly where I put the filler. I'm using the sandpaper to shape the filler. Little parts and pieces that need to be adjusted here, but I'm going to color this anyway, and then as I shape it, I'm just carving it a little bit to match the round, this round piece down here. A lot of damage in this too, so I'll be coming back with filler and filling up little spots that I didn't see before. Feel it with my finger. I can feel pretty much anything that's rough or not even, and I want it to feel good under my hand. Sometimes things you can't see you can feel really well. Okay, so that same thing, except I am going to be using a dark walnut to go back over this. Now, before I get started, I'm going to take a Scotch-Brite pad and I'm going to go over this whole thing really well. And I've noticed before I do any coloring, there's a couple of things that I need to replace, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Because right down here on the bottom of this foot, the deco is missing on one side. I'll show you how I replace that. I'll just rebuild it. All right, got a couple of things. You can see the side here. It should actually look like this with the little spinny dinnies on the side, but it does not. It looks like this, with no spinny dinny on that one side, a part of one on this side. So let's fix them both up, okay? First thing I'm going to do I'm going to drill a couple holes. Now there's two ways I could do this. I could use the epoxy putty, which is easy, or I can put a piece of wood on here and just carve it. Either way, it's going to come out the same. It's going to be a repair. So this one is going to be some really fine. I'm going to use the epoxy putty on this one. And this one just needs to build up the ear, so I'm going to put some real fine holes, and some scratches. Just to anchor the putty. And that's all. A couple holes just for the putty to anchor into. Well, it opened it up quite a bit for me. So, same thing over here. I'm going to be putting a small screw in over here. Actually, I'm going to put this screw in on this side to pack the putty around. It'll hold it so that it doesn't ever come out. Okie dokie. Careful to make it big enough that it doesn't cause it to split out. Along with some little small holes on top of it, just so that putty anchors in well. Okay. Starts. We'll put a little bit of epoxy putty on this. And it can be, I just like to smash it down in the holes really well. And then I'll add to the top. That way I know it'll stay on there. All right, and then I use a little bit of water just to soften this up, and it kind of smooths all those little cracks together. Kind of makes a little slurry out of it. I can wipe off the excess, but makes it nice to work with, because now it's like I'm just molding the piece that I need in there, and it'll dry rock hard. Okay. Just because I need to put a little bit more on that. Okay, that looks pretty good. A little bit of water. It blends, blends, blends. Oh, it's fantastic. Blah, blah, blah. All right, now that's that side, and I'll give you a close-up on it when I get to putting it down there. This here, I smash. Oh, golly willikers. Watch this side is all fresh done. Thank goodness I can still mold it, huh? Sometimes I do weird, stupid things, and that was a good example right there. A little bit of water, smooth it, smooth it. Like a smoothie. All right, now try hard not to grab onto that side. Okay, I pushed all down on that like I could. This here's going to be a little bit of something here. Yeah, I have to cut a little bit out. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. A little bit of water. Fatten that little ear up. Get something like this. Okay, it kind of looks like the other one. Banged up and stuff. Okay. Here we go. Looks a little rough right now. And I'll show you the sides and stuff when I'm done. Okay. A little bit, I think a little bit more on this outside piece here. Okay. I know it's hard for y'all to see. Put that piece there like that, and I'll show you. Mold it up in there. A little bit of water. Well, still had a little bit of dye stain on it, brushed. Okay. A little bit down here, because it looks like there's a piece missing. A little bit more. Can always carve it out if it's too much, you know. Just so you can see what I'm doing here. It's just that curl right there. Needs to be put back in where it was, right to there. And I'll carve the curl part of it in when I get that part of it. I'm just blending the piece of big old lump of stuff I put on there. It will stick. Okay. Now we just want to let that dry. Touch this up a little bit. Need a bit of water. A little bit of water there. Sometimes I was using a stiffer brush just to smooth it down in spots, but any way you want to do it. Okay. Push that down just a little bit. All right, let's let that dry. And it's gonna look a lot like the ones on the other side here. This one too. All right, that's gonna look good. So you could kind of see it that way, and see this one on this side. Okay, once I get it carved up and done, you won't be able to tell the difference. Well, I'm going to do the whole thing. I just wanted to put a little bit of stuff on here to see where I need to fix it or touch it up. It might be sticking out. Extra color on something. I know I'm going to have to color the actual mark again. But I just want to kind of see where. Okay, that's all I wanted from that right there right now. Okay, just a little color on it. Okay. Now I know where to put some dye stain to get that to blend. Okay. I'm going to sand the rest of this. It needs to be prepped. More sanding here. So let me do that, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I'll do next. All right, we've sanded her down. Blow this off without tearing anything up. All right, now that I got her sanded really good, still being very careful of the feet down here. And what I'm going to be doing now is there's a few places I still need to touch up, and I'm just going down to the end of this leg. I'm not going down where the patch is right now. That's going to make it look so much better. It has a nice, deep, rich color to it. I think you can see that, could you? See how dry this is. It's been sanded a coat. This stuff splatters everywhere, so don't wear any good clothes. I am not wiping it down yet. I'm just letting it sit on there just to soak in. Now you should let your stain dry after I wipe this down. I'll probably let it cure for about 3 days. It'll sure make the finish a lot nicer. Sometimes I've found that if I rush the finish on things like this, weird things happen, like different colors, fogging, bubbling, orange peel, all kinds of weird stuff, but never had any problem once I waited for it to cure. I'll come back over that there. So Well, little touchy up spots. Just for now, I just want to get a good coat on there. I'm probably gonna wipe this down now. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some place or another that I've missed. I just have to go back over it when and if I see it, touch up everything. So, all right. Well, for now, this is just going to set and dry. So we'll let it do that. Then we'll show you the next step on that when it's time. All right. All right. Yeah, I have to use some stripper to strip that. I don't want it nice and clean. No damage on it. Kinds of little epoxy or glue on it. Okay. Okay. Well, before I started filming, I put the top up here and slathered it with stripper. Now I'm just awaiting, spreading it out here a little bit, but just awaiting for it to work. And I just wanted to show you part of the process. I mean, it's just stripping, but you know, just in case. That way I show everything that I'm doing. And it's just regular stripper that I got from the hardware store. I'm not using anything that you can't get from either a hardware store or just order online. I don't, you know, I use pretty simple things. But it gets the job done. So, be back in about 15 minutes and see how this goes, okay? Okay, now I've got the top stripped. Here's all the finish over here. Try to keep it on the plastic so the dogs don't get into it, but it all came off pretty well. There's a real thin coat and some on there, but I think I'm going to save that and sand it by hand, because this top is very, very delicate. It's got a lot of, it has a little thin coat, but still has a lot of stuff on it. It's very, very dry and cracked. So, got as much as I could off of that. All right, let me flip it over, clean this up, and get to the next step. I've sanded the top. After I've stripped it, I sanded it and cleaned it. I washed it really lightly. I've tried not to put too much water on it because of the veneer is very light, but now I'm getting ready to put some light walnut on here just to bring back the original look. And that is all. Just wanted to show you what it was going to be like. I mean, I have a lot more touch-up to do after I put this on. So, it's going to look good though, I think. Oh, it's got a lot of cracks in the surface, which is just because it's very old. I think once I get a couple of coats of sauce on it, or semi-gloss on it, I think it'll look rather well. Okay, I think it has a nice look to it. I really do. I think I like it. I think I like it. So, it's beautiful. See the crackish things in it? That's just natural. That's just in the surface. I can't make that go away because I've sanded it down quite a bit. But I think once I put a finish on it, it's going to look pretty good. All right. Well, that's it for this piece. Well, I ran into some problems with the felt. This was super loose. End up cutting the felt off, pulling the felt off to get to these hinges because they were so loose. And when I did, the screw was just stripped out and setting in there like this. So it was something I had to do. Couldn't help it. So I've scraped off a lot of the felt. It's very tough to come off, but it was necessary to get to these hinges. Yeah, these screws aren't in very well at all. Okay, well, this is the good side. I need to kind of help preserve that. And this is, I wonder. Now, I'm kind of guessing, but it's down to the glue. I'm going to take my sander and finish off the rest of it. But this thing really helped. My little Veritas. Okay, well. This I need to protect. Set this to the side for now. This side here. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to try with this. All right, I had to use the sander here to sand this down. It looks a little rough and it looks like there's something on there, but it's a flat, I assure you. So now I can properly finish this here, and I'll do all of that. I'll finish back in the back and front before I put the felt on. Be the last thing I do. That way I can adjust these hinges to where they're tight down and make the top open smooth. All right, good morning. Back in the shop here. Let me get these lights all on. All right. Boy, this is going to be fun. Yes, sir. I'm going to be using my trusty roller and my cheap chip brush. Okay. See if we can do this. We can do it. I think we can do it. Just thinking, can we do it before it dries out? Well, I reckon the quicker we get it poured out, the better. Oh, shoot. I think that might be a little bit more than what I wanted to get on there, but you know what? Nothing to it but to do it. Try to keep it off the finish. I certainly don't want to go in the crack. There. Okay, now for the awesome part. Oh, Lord bless my hands and all that I put them to. Oh, this is going to be right fine. It is. I think it is too. Just a little scary putting all that mess out on there, you know. It just looks bad. Okay. I did a test on a piece of board the other day, and this one was with the spray and this one was with the glue. And while this was drying, it was just coming up so easy, and I thought, well, glue ain't gonna work. And I did this one with the fabric spray, and now they're dry. This stuff actually will come up. This stuff I couldn't get up if I wanted to. So that was the way to go with the white glue. Okay. Desperately, I want to tip that one end up just to see if there's a little glue on the hinge side and wipe it down before it gets bad. And there is too. Doggone it. I am so glad I checked. Dog it. You gotta love that. Hang on to your stuff, man. Embarrassing me. Okay, we'll put this back here and open this up to dry. Now we're gonna walk away. Push this down best I can. Put my nails in that groove, that way I have a nice cutting, a place to cut. Yeah, I think this is gonna work out real fine. Purdy. Well, that wrinkle ain't good. And that one's in the center. Now let's just hope this works out fine. I wonder how easy is that going to be to cut. You can see that whole thing, right? No, you can't. Not when it's open, I guess, huh? Yeah, that's what it looks like on there. I'm going to cut a little piece and see if it's going to cut right. You know, I probably want to wait until this stuff's dry. That way I can, nice tight edge. Yes, sir. That's what I'm going to do. All right, well, I'll show you when it dries and when I'm cutting it out. See you soon. All righty. Yeah, this turned out really nice. Very pleased with it. Very gently cutting this out. couple little frayed spots in there.